Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Chief David Molloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi, and I'm very proud to be joined here today by Sergeant Amanda Kulikowski. We're going to talk a little bit about her background, education, the assignments she's had with the department, as well as one of her most recent endeavors. So welcome, Sergeant Kulikowski.
Thank you, Chief.
Why don't you tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself, your background, and some of the assignments you've held here in the organization?
Well, I started with my bachelor degree of science at Eastern Michigan University, where I got a bachelor degree in criminal justice. Then I moved to the Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy. I completed that, and then I was a Detroit police officer for a short period of time before joining the City of Novi as a police officer. After that, I obtained the field training officer position and trained some probationary police officers. Then I was assigned to the Drug Enforcement Administration Task Force, Group 6 down in downtown Detroit. And from there, I was promoted to the rank of sergeant, where I'm currently the road patrol shift supervisor.
And you supervise a team, you and your partner sergeant supervise a team of 10 men and women on our day shift?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know you probably can't talk about a lot of the drug trafficking organization or the DTOs that you dismantled while working with DEA, but can you just give the viewing audience a little bit of knowledge about, kind of what you looked for? And it wasn't just a street level dealer, but you went up 3 or 4 levels in terms of your organization.
Yes, Group 6 focused on complex conspiracy cases, so we would try to get what's called the big fish in the pond of drug dealers. So we would go after the large head of the organization to try to take down and destroy as much as we could of the organization and financially cripple them.
Yeah, and I know as a result of a lot of your work, when you would take down a drug trafficking organization, you actually saw firsthand the impact that would have down the line 3 or 4 levels on street level sales, not only just here in Novi, which is very rare, but in other communities in Southeast Michigan.
Yes, we were able to help multiple communities within the Metro Detroit area and, really impact, just street sales all the way up to major level organizations.
So one of the spin-off effects of you being on the task force is, I call it kind of a force multiplier, is the fact that you can bring back that knowledge and information. Now as a shift supervisor, you can kind of help some of your men and women grow and develop, for them to develop some of these complex narcotic cases when they have vehicles stopped.
Right, so what we try to do is we try to mentor our young people and impart the knowledge that we received in our positions and assignments now to them, so they can be successful as police officers and potentially as a task force officer in the future for our organization.
And one of the things that we do know is that oftentimes drugs couriers are using our freeway system. We have several freeways that not only run through the community but are adjacent to. So we provide that training and that knowledge and that education for our men and women in the event that they do stop someone and they're able to develop that as probable cause.
Right, we use our highways, and we also use hotel stops from hotels that could be considered suspicious if it was a short-term stay or if the stay was paid in cash. These are things that we would look for and then potentially make those traffic stops to try to stop the drug trafficking.
Excellent. And I know you made a lot of good connections with state, local, and federal agencies, and now you can call on those resources. Tell the viewing audience a little bit about some of the other agencies that you were able to partner with and work with, and the relationships that you now have with them.
We were able to partner specifically, Sterling Heights Police Department was a big partner of mine, as well as Border Patrol. We did cases that went to Canada for ecstasy importation. We also did cases that were connected out to Mexico and also to California areas. So we had a lot of different agencies involved, including Department of Homeland Security, Immigration Customs Enforcement, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Ontario Provincial Police. So there's a lot of different organizations that we now have connections with that
Excellent.
we can share.
Excellent. And I know even though we don't see a great deal of mid-high level, we do have some street trafficking that we take action on. And whether the viewing audience really realizes it or not, a lot of this money is being repatriated back to the cartels on the southwest border and in Mexico. And I know one of the last threat assessments I saw, the Sinaloa cartel seems to be the largest one that really has control. And I know you've been very successful in your team at Group 6, very successful in disrupting that. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I know one of your other big accomplishments, you recently graduated with a master's degree. Why don't you tell the viewing audience a little bit about not only that degree, but also the course of study?
Yeah, I was selected for the Naval Postgraduate School. It's an accelerated 18-month master's level program through the Federal Emergency Management Agency through DHS, and I was able to successfully complete that along with my master's level thesis within the 18-month period, so it's pretty exciting.
Excellent. And I know we've talked on previous shows about data-driven decisions, and I know one of the things that you talked about was that interagency collaboration between our uniformed officers, our investigators, our command team. Can you elaborate a little bit about that and on how that worked its way into your thesis?
As I researched different national level policies, I noticed that most of the policies were some of the things that came out of the policies or the recommendations were collaboration, and it got me to think about our level of collaboration at the police department, how we could be better intra-agency, and how that would translate to interagency collaboration. So that's really what drove my thesis, is I wanted to be great intra-agency collaborators so we could be even better interagency collaborators. And that would help us, and research has shown that it helps solve crime and be more effective.
Excellent, excellent. And I just can't tell you how proud I am of you, and that truly comes from the heart, because you did a phenomenal job. Not only were you accepted to this program, which very, very few people nationwide, out of the close to 800,000 law enforcement officers, only about 60 per year are selected for the program. So kudos to you and congratulations for finishing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for appearing here today on Behind the Badge. And to you, the viewing audience, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Behind the Badge. And until next time, keep watching Novi Television.